welcome to Donegal Libraries. My name is Fiona and this is my colleague Noelle.
Hello everybody. We're here today to celebrate Ireland Reads, a National Day of Reading taking place on the 25th of February. And I pledged to read for 2 hours that day.
Oh, why are you doing that?
Well, it's good to take a little bit of time to relax and do something you enjoy, like reading. And I'd encourage everybody to squeeze in a read that day.
How do you pledge, Noelle?
You can pledge online at irelandreads.ie.
Oh, I'll have to check that out, definitely. Today we're going to do a couple of things for you. We're going to start off by doing a poem, and then we're going to talk about reading and books within the library, and we're going to finish off with some silly rhymes and some songs. Noelle,
Yes,
what building has the most stories?
the Empire State Building? No, I don't know, Fiona. What building has the most stories?
The library! Whoa! Choo-choo!
That's very true, Fiona. And we also have lots of books too.
We do indeed. Now, we're going to start off by doing a poem, and this is my first poem that I grew to love when I was a child. And the reason I loved it is because it was very silly and it didn't make any sense, and I think it was just very funny. So it's The Owl and the Pussycat by Edward Lear. The owl and the pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea green boat. They took some honey with plenty of money wrapped up in a £5 note. The owl looked up to the stars above and sang on a small guitar. Oh pussy, oh lovely pussy, my love, what a beautiful pussy you are, what a beautiful pussy you are. Pussy said to the owl, you elegant fowl, how charming and sweet you sing. Oh, let's be married, too long have we tallied, but what shall we do for our ring? They sailed away for a year and a day to the land where the bong tree grows. And there in a wood a piggy stood with a ring at the end of his nose, with a ring at the end of his nose. Dear pig, are you willing to sell for 1 shilling? Your ring, said the piggy, I will. So they took it away and married the next day by the turkey who lives on the hill. They dined on mince and slices of quince, which they ate with a Rubicon spoon. And hand in hand at the edge of the sand, they danced by the light of the moon. They danced by the light of the moon.
Well done, that was lovely.
I love that.
So, will we talk about some of our favourite books?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, maybe you want to go first.
Okay, that's fine. My first pick today is Enid Blyton's Famous Five. Now, I started reading this when I was in primary school, and I fell in love with the characters of Julian, Dick, and George, and Timmy the dog. It is published by Hodder Children's Press. The reason I loved it so much is because they had such great adventures, and there was always a happy ending, and I just loved the characters, and I could make believe when I was out playing in the garden, making my dens, that I was actually George, and my cat actually was Timmy, but it was a cat. So another reason I love this is because it's just as popular today as it was when I was a child and I read it.
Not retires for me. Okay, so I've chosen the Snatcher book, and this is a delightful picture book by the husband and wife team Helen and Thomas Docherty, and it's published by Alison Green Books. In every house, in every bed, a bedtime book was being read. So this book is about the importance of bedtime stories and how no little one should miss out on a bedtime story. And so any book that promotes a love of reading gets a thumbs up.
Oh, absolutely, you can't, it's fabulous. With that, I'm going on to my second pick, which is The Range by Matt and Tom Oldfield. They're brothers, and they're published by Dino Press. And it's the ultimate football heroes. Now, we have a lot of children and adults coming into the library, and they don't like fiction and stories and make-believe. They have different passions that they really enjoy, like cooking or science or sport, and they're looking for books on that subject. And when the children come in and we have full range of books on football, they are just so happy. So we have many children in here fighting about what team's going to win the league, who's the favourite football player, and it leads to many a lively discussion. I've picked out Harry Kane, 2 reasons. 1, because I'm a Spurs supporter, but don't tell anyone. And 2, because as it's a biography and it tells you about Harry's life, it shows at the age of 9 when he was rejected by his first football club, Arsenal, that he was told he was too small and he would never be a football player. But he carried on, he practiced, he believed in himself, and now look where he is today, Noelle.
Follow your dreams.
Absolutely. And again, within the library service, our football books, also we have the women footballers, also biographies on them, and books on women football. Football is for boys and girls, and on a lot of occasions girls are better than boys now at playing football.
My second choice is another picture book, because I love picture books and I think that picture books are suitable for all ages. Oftentimes people think they're just for toddlers, but that's not the case. And this is a particularly good example. It's called You're Called What? And it's by Kes Gray and Nikki Dyson, and it's published by Macmillan Books. And this is a really funny book, but it's also educational. This book has kids in fits laughing because you have the monkey face prickleback, you have the pink fairy armadillo, and the worm, the ice cream cone worm. Now, who would believe that these are actual animals? And the great thing about this book is that at the back of the book we have facts and snaps of these actual animals as well. So that's my second recommendation.
And I tell you, do you see when you started going on about ice cream, I was getting so hungry until you said worm, and I thought, no, there'll be none of that. My last book is probably one of the biggest books in the library, and it's called Life, the First 4 Billion Years, so it covers quite a bit of time. It's by Martin Jenkins and illustrated by Graham Baker-Smith, published by Walker Books. The reason I picked this one is because it tells you, it is a stunning book that goes from the very first single cell creature on Earth to man today, or humankind today. It is so interesting, and if you look at it, the illustrations are just so wonderful. What it means is you start reading about different creatures, and it is just so informative. You want to get onto the next page to see about the next creature that lived 4 billion years ago. I think I was about 3 at that stage.
Possibly. So my final choice is Claude's Comic Keepers, and these are based on the Alex T. Smith Claude stories, and this book is published by 16th South. And I chose a comic book because sometimes you'll have boys and girls who are reluctant readers. They think they don't like reading and they don't like books. And basically the benefits of a comic book is that they're easier to read than a normal book, and they're fun as well. So they can appeal to those boys and girls who think they don't like reading, but possibly they just haven't found the right book. And what I would also say is that all reading counts. So comic books count too.
I'll never pass a Beano. I love the Beano still. Right, so that's our pick of books. Now we're going to do some silly rhymes, and we're going to start off with something that's food related, because I do love food, as you know. So I'm going to start.
Okay.
On top of spaghetti,
all covered with cheese,
I lost my poor meatball.
When somebody
It rolled off the table
and onto the floor,
and then my poor meatball
rolled out of the door,
and it rolled into the garden
and under a bush,
and then my poor meatball
was nothing but mush.
So if you eat spaghetti,
all covered with cheese,
hold on to your meatball,
for someone might
Oh, I love that. The thought of meatballs going out the door. Now, if you thought that one was silly, wait till you see this one.
We're going to get up for this one.
It's an action song.
And it's a play on
words.
and it's called Tony Chestnut.
And we're going to start off doing it slowly because I can get very mixed up in it. Okay?
1,
2,
2, 3.
Tony Chestnut, Tony Chestnut,
knows I love you,
knows I love you. Tony Chestnut knows, Tony Chestnut knows. I love you, I love you. And that's the wonderful thing about song. You can be so silly.
It was
and
silly
you love
because I
it.
made lots of mistakes.
Oh, but that's the fun of it.
Why not try that out at home?
Absolutely.
So we just want to thank you for joining us today and to say that we can't wait till we can welcome you back into the library. And remember,
squeeze in a reed.